Where are we, Oscar?
At the halls of residence of Microïds University.
And do we really have to stop here?
The situation is incompatible with the pursuit of our journey.
What are you waiting for, then? Wind them up. Find a way. There must be some sort of train-winding thing just laying around in this weirdo station.
I have seen nothing that fits that description, Kate Walker.
I guess we'd better find out, then.
I do not like this station. The atmospheric humidity is detrimental to my sophisticated wheel workings. I will wait for you inside the train.
Wimp. Oscar, see you later, alligator.
In a while, Kate Walker.
That thing looks like the winding machine I used in the Valladolid station. I've got to find a way of getting the train up here.
Kate Walker! Kate Walker! Come over here, please! I have something to say to you!
Yes, Oscar, what is it?
A message has arrived for you.
A message?
You have been summoned to see the rectors. They are the highest authority at the university. They want to talk to you.
Talk to me?
Yes, to the person responsible for the train.
So, I'm in charge now, sure, okay. But why would these gentlemen want to see me at all?
They do not say why, just that it's very important.
Hey there! On the boat!
Guten Tag, schöne Mademoiselle.
My husband say, "Hello, young lady. You want to talk to us?"
My name is Kate Walker, and I'm a lawyer. I'm in charge of this train. This situation is really very new to me.
Lawyer, good job. Earn lot of money.
A lot? A lot? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I can't really complain, I guess. There's worse.
Lawyer always ask a lot of money.
Can we change the subject, please? I really don't want to go down this road. Are you from Bergstadt?
Niet.
So you're like me. Birds just passing through. I'm stuck here because of my train.
Kleine Puskereisen mit uns, no?
What did he say?
Train kaput. No luck for you.
I have a little problem with my train. It's kind of broken. I've absolutely got to get it out of the station. Do you think you could tow it over to the wall with your barge?
Lock closed. Barge blocked.
But if the locks were open, would it be okay to tow my train then?
Porke no? More money for that werk.
Da, is possible. My husband say we help you if you give money.
Right. And how much do you want?
Cinquante.
He want $150.
$150? I don't have that much.
No money, no barge.
Let me offer you $75.
Nay, $125.
Out of the question. $100 and not a dime more.
Correct. You have barge for $100.
Great. Now, don't move. I'll be back as quick as possible with the money. I'll leave you to it. I won't disturb you again.
До свидания.
Good day to you, gentlemen.
Tell me, young lady, to what do we owe this pleasure?
Please do be brief. We do not have very much time on our hands.
As rectors of this university, we have serious matters to attend to, and our time is precious.
I have heard you wish to meet the owner of the train that is currently in your station. May I know the reason for your summons?
We are surprised that your train has not yet left, miss. The situation is most regrettable.
The rules do clearly state that trains are meant to come and go and not remain stationary at a platform.
Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
We agree then, dear colleagues, that what we're dealing with is deviant behavior.
This matter really is cause for concern.
It's a clockwork train, you see? So it needs winding up again. Unfortunately, there is no equipment in the station to do this.
A clockwork train? That's strange.
How very quaint. You mean it's some sort of mechanical toy?
You are causing a hindrance to us, miss.
I am very hopeful that I will find what I need along the wall.
The wall?
Miss, that really is not a suitable place for you to go.
Especially for a young lady.
You see, miss, we freely admit that every day we praise the existence of that particular edifice. We owe the integrity of our dear university and the fine education it provides to the wall.
It protects us from harm and invasion from the unknown.
May God protect us from what is beyond those ramparts, miss. Please believe me.
I don't have any choice. I must continue my journey.
Such a decision is a correct one since it's in line with regulations.
Thus, your train will indeed be able to leave.
And consequently cease to obstruct our station.
You wouldn't know if there is any Forest Sauvignon here in Barrackstadt, would you?
Absolutely.
When he says absolutely, he means, of course, absolutely none.
What we mean, of course, is that we are absolutely positive there is no Forest Sauvignon here in Barrackstadt.
Really? Are you sure? Because I read in a book that Barrackstadt possesses a number of plants. I wouldn't mind getting a hold of some if possible.
Out of the question, miss.
The assistant rector means to say that our priority is for you to remove your train from our station. Your research will have to wait until your next stop.
Yes, that's right. Your train must leave the station immediately, so please refrain from wasting our time in needless visitations.
Don't forget the regulations, miss. Don't forget them. Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. And quickly!
Some sailors have agreed to tow the train, but I don't have enough money to pay them. I was wondering if you could help me out. For a while. I could work for the money.
Please wait, miss. We have certain confibulations to attend to.
That is right. We must confibulate between ourselves. A collegiate decision must be taken.
I hope that we are not indisposing you in any way.
Why not?
If it helps us get rid of that train.
My word, that is a fine idea.
What do you have in mind, gentlemen?
When you arrived here, you must have noticed a splendid bandstand which honors the main university courtyard.
A unique piece of mechanical craftsmanship which no longer works, alas.
Why, yes, we have very moving memories of its melodies. We're prepared to offer you a financial reward if you can set it working again.
With pleasure. What do I have to do?
Unfortunately, my dear, time and rust have taken their toll on this university, and our automatons no longer have a spring in their step. You are going to have to be resourceful.
To tell you the truth, there are a number of complex mechanisms here in Barrackstadt, and it would appear that we have unfortunately lost their operating instructions.
Your train, however, is an extremely ingenious invention, so you should be no stranger to complex mechanisms, should you? We are therefore counting on your ingenuity, miss.
I hope that I can show myself worthy of your faith in me, gentlemen.
Well, my dear colleagues, one more university matter nicely tied up.
That idea of the station aviary is really very original.
It's the pride of our university. One of the specialties taught here is zoology, you see, and more particularly, ornithology. Proper study and instruction should not be limited to books. Observation of living matter is indissociable from theoretical questions.
It contains some very rare specimens that have been brought back from faraway, exotic countries, especially for our university, by the world's most intrepid explorers.
Do you remember Alexander Valenbois and his peculiar bird?
Absolutely. His gift produced some very embarrassing long-term consequences.
A poison chalice indeed. It must be said the situation could have been much worse, however.
Oh, yes, it could have been terribly problematic.
Excuse me.
Miss, we find ourselves terribly put out by the presence of your train in our station and by its recurrent immobility.
Indeed, the situation is very regrettable. Your huge locomotive is very cumbersome.
A train should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
Does the name Hans Vorarlberg mean anything to you by chance?
Ah, one of the brightest, most idealistic intellects to have graced our university. Hans Vorarlberg. I remember speaking to him once. I was still a student at the time. He just stared at me, lost in thought for a while. He scarcely ever said a word. But how can one forget him?
Idealistic? I'll grant you that. But bright? Oh, don't go too far. He was completely incapable of passing any exams. All he ever did was to sit in on lessons, and not many of them either. Paleontology, mainly. He had an unhealthy passion for mammoths, which matched the state of his intellect perfectly. That is to say, prehistoric.
Prehistoric? How dare you? A little far-fetched, maybe. But he did have flashes of intellectual brilliance, comprehensible only to high-minded scholars who hold no score by appearances. My dear colleague, your hasty conclusions are somewhat cavalier.
My assessment is wholly accurate. The boy was a little odd. You must concur if my father, who was rector of the university at the time, had not shown great indulgence towards him. Hans Vorarlberg would have never attended this establishment.
What about the bandstand, then? Is that the work of a deranged mind? Even after all these years, you are still jealous of it.
My dear colleagues, I beseech you, let's show some decorum. We have a visitor. What do you want with Hans Vorarlberg, miss? Are you a member of his family?
No, not at all. I'm looking for him to clear up an inheritance matter. Is he still here?
What? Here? At the university? No, not at all. He left a long time ago. Yes, a very long time ago. The very year I was nominated to this position, in fact. Almost 50 years ago already.
The poor soul moved on once he learned all he needed to know about mammoths.
Ah, this establishment was never quite the same after his departure, it must be said.
You mean to say it was never as bad? All that oddball brought to this university was his misplaced fantasies.
Gentlemen, let's try to retain the calm and level-headedness that befits our position.
Here we are, busy chatting, and look at the clock. It's tea time.
Already? My word, doesn't time fly by?
Thank you for a charming visit, miss.
And thank you, gentlemen. Excuse me. Sir, please, just a moment.
Yes, what is it? I'm not deaf, you know.
I am sorry to disturb you in your work, sir, but
This young Mammothus primigenius is barely 40,000 years old. Fantastic, wouldn't you say, miss?
yes. Probably.
What do you mean, probably?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, you don't know, I see. What can I do for you, my dear child?
If I were to say Forest Sauvignon to you, what would you say?
Let's see. Sauvignon. I would say it's some kind of tropical shrub, don't you think?
We are talking about the same plant, then. It is a very rare shrub with small, juicy fruits. I found a book about the Amazon, and it says that there are even Sauvignon plants growing right here in Barrickstadt. You wouldn't know where, would you?
Amazon Sauvignon plants here? No, I don't think there are any. Highly implausible. But you should ask the station master. He is keeper of the greenhouse at our university, so he could tell you more than me.
Oh, thanks very much. To tell you the truth, I'm looking for Mr. Hans Vorarlberg. He's the sole heir of a very unusual factory. My company is in charge of negotiations for the takeover of this factory. At last word, he was living in Syberia. So, as soon as my train is ready, I'll be continuing my journey eastwards.
Syberia. Syberia. But what was it you said again?
Said what?
You mentioned a name. The person you are looking for.
Vorarlberg. Hans Vorarlberg. Do you know him?
Hans Vorarlberg. How could I forget him? Such an extraordinary fellow. So inventive. We shared a passion for mammoths, you know, and we bonded over this passion. Without it, I confess, I would have had little to do with an odd, ageless retard like Hans. At the time, we were both students. Well, sort of. Put it this way. Hans had special permission to attend paleontology lectures. You see, he didn't really have the necessary qualifications. In exchange, Hans did a few odd jobs around the university.
Your Hans Vorarlberg sounds uncannily like the one I'm looking for.
I'm not sure, my dear. Hans was above all questions of money and business. Just to imagine him running a factory, perish the thought.
Can you tell me a little bit more about him?
He was always a mystery to me. He never said very much, and never quite seemed to grasp what you said to him. He expressed himself instead through his incredible mechanical contraptions. His inventions, I admit, have been much appreciated by the university. The few times we really did talk, it was about his strange interest for mammoths and a doll. Some sort of doll that obsessed him.
A doll, you say?
Yes, he kept talking about it. One day he described it to me. A sort of children's toy. A miniature mammoth mounted by a mout. It appears he found it in a cave not far from his home. The event all sounds very dramatic. His account was slightly confused, but it awoke a great interest in me.
What do you mean?
To my knowledge, there was only one tribe who made figurines featuring a mout, and that tribe is the Yukols. They live in the farthest reaches of Syberia, and for them, the dolls constituted a sacred object, illustrating one of their central legends. How such a doll made the journey from the frozen Siberian north to a cave in the French Alps is a mystery to me. Even today, it is beyond my comprehension.
Have you considered that Hans Vorarlberg was maybe making it up? You said yourself he didn't seem to have all his mental facilities intact.
No, that's impossible. Hans couldn't invent a story like that. The doll is a sacred part of the Syberia legend. He described it to me in exact detail. Syberia itself is a chimera that paleontologists of the world are very fond of pursuing.
I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all, my dear child.
Hello?
So, you got him then, this heir?
Ah, it's you, Mr. Marson. Good day, and how are you, sir?
I'll feel a whole lot better when this whole business is over and the sales contract is signed. Where the hell are you?
I'm in Barkstadt.
What? What in God's name are you doing there?
It's a magnificent university town. It would appear Hans Vorarlberg once passed by here several years ago.
So if he isn't there anymore, then there's no point hanging around.
I hear what you're saying, sir, but I have good reason to believe that Hans Vorarlberg is still alive. For the time being, I'm trying to gather extra information from people who have known him.
What's your next destination?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Doesn't sound like you know too much, Kate.
I just need a bit of time, Mr. Marson.
Yeah, well, time is what you ain't got. Keep me posted.
Hello.
You arrived by train, I see.
Yes, I've come from Valladolid.
It's been a long time since I've seen a train here. Students, did you bring students with you?
No, I traveled alone. Well, almost alone.
I remember around the start of fall, trains would bring kids from all around the world here to study zoology and botany, paleontology, and all that stuff. This was a great university.
And it isn't still great today, then?
Today? Well,
Where might I find some forest Sauvignon plants, please?
no place round here, that's for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff's from the Amazon.
You know, for someone who knows nothing about the plant, you seem pretty well informed about which mysterious faraway country it comes from.
Oh, Amazon, Peru, Papua New Guinea, it's all the same to me. Gotta go. Gotta work.
Wait, don't go. You know what? I don't think he was being totally straight with me. Excuse me, station master? but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
I'm looking for a kind of little juicy berry. You don't know where I could find some?
Look, lady, the station doesn't have any Sauvignon berries, not even Forest Sauvignon.
Funny you should mention it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Forest Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, raspberries, red currants, they're all the same to me. And we don't grow none of them here.
But you see, I have just read a very interesting book which says that the rare Sauvignon berry is actually cultivated here, in the famous Barokstadt University aviary itself.
Well, if it's in a book, then don't believe everything you read, miss.
I don't know why, but I don't think you're telling me the truth.
What do you mean? I don't know. How should I know where to find your stupid grape? Go ask your professor, what's his name, Pons, the paleontologist.
But you're the master of this station, so you should know better than anyone.
Nobody tells me anything. I don't know. Go see the old guy with the fossils.
I won't disturb you any longer, Mr. Station Master.
Welcome to Barokstadt, miss.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again. Professor, I have brought you something that should be of interest to you. Look.
What have you got there, then? Let's see. An effigy of a mammoth. But this is Hans' doll, is it not? Yes, of course it is. How on earth did you... Oh, my God. It's in my hands. It exists. It really exists. Please do excuse me. I'm deeply, deeply moved.
You see? Your Hans and my Vorarlberg heir are one and the same.
This is incredible. After all these years, how can I ever thank you, my dear? Oh, I must waste no time. I'm off to my laboratory. I must study this carefully. May I borrow your treasure a moment?
Well, actually,
Don't worry, miss. I will take the greatest care of it. But I need to study it. You see, it has such importance to me that this very afternoon I shall deliver an impromptu lecture to my students about this very object. If you are interested in Hans Vorarlberg, then it is essential that you attend. Huh?
Do you think so?
Obviously. Give me your telephone number and I will call you the moment my lecture begins. I will return you your doll at the end. You have my word. What is it you want to know, miss?
You wouldn't know where the Forest Sauvignon plants are kept in Barokstadt, would you?
Why do you think there are Sauvignon plants here?
I read about it in a book at the library.
Try going to see the station master. If such a shrub exists, he will have a better idea than anyone.
It's actually he who sent me to you. I thought it a little strange, but he definitely said ask the paleontologist. You're the only one here, aren't you?
Yes, indeed. What a strange way to behave. Well, I think he must have made a mistake, that's all. Nobody tells me anything here. Maybe you should ask the rectors. After all, they are in charge of the university.
All right, thanks. I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't disturbed you too much.
Sorry? No, not at all.